How's everybody doing this afternoon? Hope everybody had a good holiday Thanksgiving. We did. As you can see, we're not in my shop today. We're not doing no air ride stuff or nothing like that. We're actually over with a friend of mine, Ted. I like to call him Hotrod Ted, and you're fixing to find out why. This will be our first Chevrolet video. I've had two Ford guys on before, so I got me a Chevrolet guy now. And he's got some, if you like Tri-5 Chevys or you like Camaros, this is the dude for you. He is the owner of this beautiful 1955 Chevrolet right here. Ted, won't you tell us a little bit about this 55?
I bought this car here. It came from Georgia, and it had been sitting under a pine tree for about 15 years. You can imagine what that looked like. So I done a frame-off restoration on it, and it turned out to be my baby. I normally sell and trade on everything, but this one I decided I'd keep.
I don't blame you on it. I absolutely love the color of this car too. You couldn't have done better with the color on this car. It is hot. You, like you said, you do a lot of buying and selling and trading in these cars.
I do.
You do mostly Chevrolets all the time, or does it matter to you?
It don't really matter. I don't have a preference, but I do like the Tri-5s as a personal car.
Yeah, I have a 56. Well, that's Amanda's car. It's not mine. It's her car, but it's our first Tri-5, and I really like them. They got a huge following.
They do.
A lot of people like the Tri-5 Chevys, and all of them. It don't matter whether wagons, 210, two-door post, four-door, they're hot all over the place and getting hotter too. I mean, this car here turns a lot of heads. When you see this car, man, it's sharp. You hit this one spot on with the color.
Well, thank you.
You also have this Camaro over here we're gonna show off too. And this Camaro's what year's the Camaro?
It's a 1979 Sport Coupe.
Sport Coupe. I love the blue on it too. Now you traded for this car, didn't you?
I did.
And it was already done the way that it sits here today.
Yes, sir.
Nice. And both of these are drivable cars daily.
Yeah, they're anywhere cars.
Oh, I know the 55 is because I see them all the time. This is a beautiful car. It's a head turner. Let's take a look at this motor right here in this car. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're running under the hood in this thing?
All right, that's an old style 283, and it's a 56 model 283. I'm sorry, a 66 model 283. We took it all apart. We put in 13-to-1 dome top pistons. We put a pretty good size racing cam in it. We done double hump heads on it. Wow. And then we backed her up with a 4-speed.
Wow.
And a 410 gear in the rear end.
This thing move on down the road pretty good then, won't it?
It'll scare you a little bit.
Now you still running off stock suspension up under the car? Or?
I am.
Nice. And then I see you've done disc brakes up front. You got them 4-wheel disc brakes or 2-wheel disc brakes?
Just 2-wheel disc brakes.
Nice. Car been lowered any at all?
No, it sits stock on the frame.
It looks good the way it sits, and I love the side pipes on this. That's a big thing. I love side pipes.
That keeps you old school, don't it?
Yeah, got to keep it old school. This is really fantastic under here. I notice you're not running any inner fender wells. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I was afraid with them big pistons in that motor, she might run a little bit hot.
Right.
So I wanted as much air as I could get in there, and that's probably why I also went with 4-quart radiator. And I'm not going to say it works or it don't work, but I don't have overheating problems, so.
Right. This is also kind of indicative of a gasser style.
It is.
They didn't run any inner fenders either, did they?
No, because they always wanted those fender well headers.
Right. And now that's another big thing with these 55. You see a lot of these made into gassers. Mm-hmm. There's a couple that run in the Southeastern Gasser series. A couple of sharp ones, and I think they're big block cars though, but I may be mistaken about that. But a lot of people do these in all kinds of different ways. So
they do.
I mean, they look good stock or custom, lowered or gasser. They look good all the way around.
They look good even patina.
Yeah.
I mean, a 55 is just the body.
Right. I like. You're talking my language. I like patina. I like patina cars. But yes, this is really nice. The paint on this is amazing. Did you paint the car yourself?
I did.
Did you really?
I did.
Fantastic.
That's candy apple matte.
Candy apple matte with sharp. I really like the matte. I'm big on matte finishes. I like that. I like patina. Kind of that old school hot rodder stuff and rat rod stuff has come to know now with the patina and things like that. This is a really sharp car. How long you had the car?
I've had it for almost 2 years now.
So we'll get a good shot on the inside too of this thing, because this thing looks real good on the inside. And I really like the console. Now it's a 4-speed car.
It is.
Nice. Really nice. You've done an amazing job with this. Really looks good. You paint the dash yourself?
I did. I do all the work.
Nice. I can really appreciate that. So a lot of these guys will get out now, you know, they'll just drop a car off and pay to have the car built, and then they'll just pick it up, and then it's kind of like buying one off a dealership at that point, when you just drop off a shell and say, hey, build this and build it this way and I'll pick it up.
And they don't really realize the fun they've lost.
Right.
I have a ball.
There ain't nothing I like better than just sitting in my garage fooling with one of these old cars. I've been fooling with mine for quite a while on many different cars. I'm kind of like you. I like them all. You know, Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge. It don't matter. I can find one in all of them I like.
I can too.
And when somebody builds one, then that brings a different aspect to it. You got the trunk done in this one and everything. I relocated the battery. That's nice. Now, the battery in some of these was in the floor pan, wasn't it?
Not on the 55s. They were all up under the hood on the right side of the firewall. But when you're building something like this, that just gets bulky.
Right.
So you want to kind of move it. So a lot of people do move them to the trunk.
I really like this display you have of this car.
Thank you.
And you take this with you to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
It really gives a good look of the car in pictures. It's really nice. How long did it take you to build a car?
I worked on it 2 winters. But I can't really tell you the hours because sometimes I can't sleep, so I'll be up here at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I hear that. I'm the same way. But you can't, when you're building one of these cars, what a lot of people don't understand, unless you're clocking time to build it for somebody, it's hard to keep track of how many hours you'll sit and fiddle with one of these when it's your personal car. It
is, and if you're building one for somebody, if they would do the math and the research, they would find out if you're charging per hour for your skills, they can buy it already done cheaper.
Oh yeah, I've heard this many times, exactly what you said, because when I built my Cadillac, man, when I look back at, you know, you talk 2 years, it took 2 to 3 years to build that car. The amount of time, almost every weekend, when I come in, you know, from work, things like that, on, you know, holidays, I'd be out there fooling with. Time gets lost real quick when you're doing this.
But that's part of the fun. I mean, when you fire that thing up and take it down the road, you're setting in your work.
Right. You're showing off your skills.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's you know, I've said this many times. It's a heck of a commitment to put that kind of time into something like this.
It is.
But what you get out of it, it's amazing.
The rewards are wonderful.
Yeah, and what I really like to see is people who finish the car. Like you finished, this car's finished.
It is.
You can drive it, you can go to town in it, you can go to dinner in it. It's finished. A lot of guys will get lost with that last 10% of the build. Some of the small details that really set the thing off. You know, like, you know, sticker in the body, putting badging in certain places that needs badging. Things like that, maybe touching up the paint inside the trunk or putting carpet down, things like that. A lot of guys just don't finish. And I really hate to see that, because when you get as far as the last 10%, you need to just finish it out.
You do, but a lot of people just lose interest.
They do, yeah, they do, and that happens a lot. You know, people get these cars and they don't quite comprehend what kind of time or what kind of skill set or money is involved in doing these things, and it's easy to get overwhelmed in one real quick. It really is.
It is, and my advice to somebody that is getting overwhelmed in a build is stop and go to a car show.
Yeah.
When you see the ambiance around that car show, it puts you back in gear to come back and finish your car. So you can be there next time.
Right, and it adds a tremendous amount of elevation.
It does.
And watching videos, you know, guys who got these done, car show videos, how-to videos on certain things on these cars, all that creates motivation. And, you know, at the end of the day, though, it's a very expensive hobby.
It can get that way.
It can, but it's a great hobby to get into. You can find these cars. I'm not going to say that you can find cheap cars, because it don't seem to be like they're what they used to be 10 years ago or 15. But you can still find these cars out there for, you know, $1,000. You can drag home a heap that you can make something out of.
What happened to that low price was the rat rods.
Exactly.
Everybody did drag home the $1,000 vehicle, yeah. and they're beautiful too.
They are.
When it comes to an antique collecting car, I've not ever seen an ugly one.
That's me. I like them all. The rat rods. That's a whole different thing now. They took what used to be the cheapest form of doing this, and they've really blown it up. I mean, it's huge. Rat rods are huge now. Mm-hmm. Used to, that was the cheapest way you could do something like this, but not anymore. You can take it and make it as cheap as you want, or you can make it as expensive as you want.
Yeah, you can. You can, depending on what look you're after.
Exactly, and how far you want to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
How obnoxious do you want that motor up under that hood?
Yeah.
Why don't you take us over here and tell us a little bit about this beautiful Camaro?
All right. Well, we achieved this car here about 2 weeks ago. We took it in on a trade, and so we think we're just going to hang on to it for at least till April.
Right.
That'll be the rod run. That's usually good trading material.
Oh yeah.
This car's in excellent shape. It's absolutely no rust or nothing. I mean, it's just a beautiful car. It's a 1979 Camaro Sport Coupe.
They've done some good work on this car. This is a nice car. The paint on this car, spot on too. The color's great. I mean, color is great. You'll see as many red Camaros or black as you want to see. I like it when there's something different or a little blue. Now, this is a factory Camaro Chevy color, is it not?
This is actually the factory color for this car.
Nice. That makes it even better. This car is very well done. Very well done. What are you running under the hood of this one?
It's got a small block 350. It's all stock, 4-barrel carburetor and automatic transmission, but it's all just a stock motor.
What trans is running in this?
It's got the small block 350 motor and the 350 trans both.
That's a pretty durable, rock solid transmission too.
It is. It is. It makes for a good, just everyday cruising machine.
Right. This is a good looking car.
It's got the 373 gear under it, so it's good for a long distance cruise.
Right. That's a good gear. This would be a great car right here. You could drive it anywhere with that gear in it. Man, was this car local to here?
No, this car's from Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol. Nice. This is a good looking car. Is that the original motor for the car?
No. The car, according to the VIN tag, actually came out with 305.
Okay. Mm-hmm. 305s are durable engines. They're good engines. They're hard to drag a lot of power out of them, but they are a durable engine. For an everyday engine, they're a great engine.
They are. They're doing a little bit more with them. the 305 now with the Vortec heads does pretty decent, but it's still not a 350.
Right. Well, for the money, you might as well go to the 350.
Right.
And, well, going forward in the future, these old 350s eventually, it's just going to all be LSs, because that's all you hear now is LS, LS, LS. I just like, personally, I like the old school.
I do, but I mean, you know, it is going to that.
Now they make a variety of different setups for them LSs now. You can get them, put carburetor on them, stuff like that.
Yeah, I had one here about a week ago in a pickup truck.
It was a C10, the blue one.
It was.
That was a nice truck too. I wish we could have got that on camera. But literally, this guy rolls through these cars like I roll through underwear. The only one that seems to have a permanent home is the 55.
Yeah, when I got through building that 55, I stood back and I realized as I was building it in my mind, I built it the way I would want a car for myself. So I just kind of let it stay home for a while.
I can't blame you on that. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a great car. He had a great vision for that car.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that car. I remember the first time I seen that car, and I was just like, wow, that is hot right there. The side pipes do it for me. They make the car. They really do. With the color and the side pipes, it just makes it.
And I like the cutout fender wells, which those are actually Nomad quarter panels.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
Nomad station wagon, a lot of people don't realize, but they came factory cut out.
Really?
If you want that bevel around the wheel, you use Nomad quarters, and it gives you that bevel like a factory.
Well, I learned something today, that's for sure, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yep.
Wow. So I noticed that bevel back there. And of course, you know, I just figured you rolled them.
Well, a lot of people do, and back in the day, we used to roll them with a baseball bat. But those are actually out of a Nomad station wagon.
That's old school stuff right there.
It is.
Rolling with that ball bat. That's old school stuff right there. That's stuff that you pass down because it gets lost.
It does. That's what we did when we didn't have no money. We still ain't got no money, but we ain't got a baseball bat either.
Right. Now you've got a current build going on. That's a Tri-5.
I do.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Can we look at it?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the building.
All right, now we're out here on the other side of his shop with his current project. And this is a 1955.
1955 210 wagon.
Nice.
Bel Air, true Bel Air.
I've got a 56 210. Amanda's got a 56 210. I'm working on also. Now you've got this one about ready to paint.
I'm gonna try to paint it Monday.
This is a nice car too. What do you run under the hood of this car?
This has a small block 400. It has a 400 turbo transmission, and it has the 10-bolt Positrack rear end.
This one's set up to run.
Yeah, it is.
The 400 turbo trans is the same trans I run in my Cadillac with my small block.
Is it?
Good trans.
It's not hardly as clean as my other car, but
This one's in current construction.
right,
They're hard to keep clean when you're working on them.
they are.
And if you're doing body work, they're extremely hard to keep clean.
Almost impossible.
Exactly. Now, what are your plans with this car going forward? You gonna try to keep it, or is it gonna be for sale?
No, it'll be for sale.
This is a sharp car right here. What color are you gonna do it?
I bought matte black for it. I think that'd look good on this wagon. And I'm gonna leave the dashboard the color it is, gray.
That'd look good with the matte black.
I think so.
Yeah. Now, this is a decent looking car right here.
It's got an excellent body on it. There's absolutely no rust in the body, and it only had two bad places in the floor, which I have repaired.
You know, they're getting harder and harder to find.
Wagons are.
Yeah. They really got, wagons really picked up about 3-4 years ago, and they just got hot all of a sudden. You know, when people started scooping these things up. When I was a teenager, you could buy one of these particular wagons for $500 out of somebody's yard. People would just give them away.
Yeah.
And then, of course, scrap metal price went up, and you know what happened next, unfortunately. A lot of them got junked because of the weight of them.
Yeah. These are real neat, like if you're going to a swap meet, because you can haul you and your wife, a couple of friends, and everything you buy.
Now, you had a wagon before this, but it wasn't a 210.
Yeah, it was a 210.
Was it a 210?
It was a 56, but it's a two-door.
Now, that one had the windows that rolled down, you were showing me. Even though it was a two-door, the back window, I'd never seen one like that.
There were very few of those made.
And then it would have been the handyman that didn't have the window at all.
No, the delivery doesn't have the windows. Handyman does have the windows.
Sedan delivery.
Yeah. Sedan delivery has the metal and no windows.
And in there for a while, it was a big thing to get one of them and just sheet metal that glass up because the glass got knocked out and they didn't want to spend the money for it. So that glass could be expensive.
And hard to find.
But that was a cheap way of getting around it. If you did have one that had the glass knocked out, you just sheet metal it up and make a sedan delivery.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people will take these wagons and they'll make gassers out of them too.
They do, and they look good as a gasser.
Being a Tri-5, it's no different than the 2-door, 4-door cars. You can do them in a variety of ways, and they look good. It don't matter how you do them, they look good. Just do them to your personality, your particular style.
In my opinion, there's no wrong way to do a 55.
I hear that.
Wagon, coupe, or a sedan, I mean. There's just no wrong way to do them.
Well, I can tell you what she's going to do with hers, and it's going to be like the family car. That's going to be our family car. Except I'll probably never get to drive it. But this is a short car, and you're coming right along with it. You're moving on pretty quick with it. How long you been working on this one?
I've had this car for about a week. Of course, it was already primered, but it wasn't. It was primered. It was primered pretty good, but it had been neglected.
Right.
So I've had to strip it down and start all over.
It looks like you're doing some good work here. It makes a world of difference when you start out working on one that's solid and not just caving in with rust everywhere.
It is. It's easier on you, but it kind of takes a little bit of challenge away too.
It does. Mm-hmm. It seems like every car I drag in, you can see the floor right through the floor, right onto the road.
But that makes you a car enthusiast.
Yeah.
Because most guys see the ground through the floorboard and they'll walk away from it.
I used to be like that years ago when I first started getting into this. The first truck I ever drove home was a 54 bullnose 3105 window. And I did a cab swap with it. I'd never done one before. YouTube was still very primitive. They wasn't like it is now where you can get on there and find just about anything. And I did a lot of research talking to guys like yourself. I worked in a tractor shop then. So those guys knew tractors. They did not know hot rods. Everything else I just kind of fumbled my way through and just kind of faked it till I could make it. That truck actually turned out pretty good, and I ended up selling that truck to a car enthusiast. He owned a car lot in Atlanta, Georgia. He come up here. He had a trailer with him. He drove the truck home, and his brother drove the truck and trailer behind him.
That's awesome.
I run the 4.3 in that truck. Sure
Really?
4.3, 700 R4 trans. That truck run great. It wasn't the fastest thing on the road, but it's a great drive. You could drive it anywhere. Had airbag suspension on it too. Sure was the first one I ever done.
You know, we build these cars for the speed. I mean, like this car here, the way it's set up, it will do pretty decent. But once we get them set up like that, we enjoy driving them at around 50 miles an hour.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I very rarely break 60 miles an hour in either one of my cars.
I may on the pull out, just doing a little show off. But then after that, after I go through the gears, I kind of calm down and get back to 50 and sit back and cruise because I want to see what's around me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, not drag racing every day.
No.
I want to be able to enjoy it, just on a normal day. But hey, when I'm sitting at that light and somebody's revving that motor, I want it there.
Oh yeah, I want to have it.
Yeah, I want to be able to go. I want it when I need it.
I want to have it.
Now, is this a disc brake car too?
It is. It's got disc brakes all the way around. All 4 disc brakes and power, and it has power steering also.
Wow, this car really is set up to drive good. Then
it is. Mm-hmm. It's set up to drive anywhere.
What kind of rear end you run in this car?
It's as far as I know, I was told it's a 373 posi track.
That's a good rear end. That's a good rear end. Now this is overall a really nice car. This is a solid car, which can be hard to find. This car will bring good money because these cars, whether it is a wagon or 2-door post or sedan, they all, any Tri-5 commands a certain price nowadays.
They do.
And they got just a huge following. They're iconic. Everybody knows 57 Chevy, 55, 56 Chevy. You don't even have to say what it is. If you say 57 Chevy, they just automatically assume in most cases it's a Bel Air.
Yeah. When it really, it's not, that's not really necessarily true. That they was Bel Airs, they were 150s, mm-hmm. They were Del Reys.
Right.
They were 210s. Mm-hmm. But most people just say, I got a 55 Bel Air.
And the cool thing about these cars is a lot of the parts between 55 and 57 are interchangeable.
Almost all.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they call them the Tri-5s.
Yeah. Yeah, through those 3 cars, almost every part is changeable.
Mm-hmm. And that, that carried on even into the 60s with the Biscayne, the Impala, and the Bel Air. Later on, because my 60, I'm running Biscayne fenders on the front.
And I think that's what made Chevrolet so popular because they did fix it to where you could take parts from other cars to fix your car.
Right.
Ford didn't.
No.
When it comes to Ford, you can have 2 identical trucks and parts will not interchange.
Yeah, Bubba's over there shaking his head because he knows all about that. You're right about that. And even Ford, they went above that. I mean, like with his Thunderbird, it's got to be Thunderbird or it won't work.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when you start talking about the motor, yeah, I mean, they run the 390 in a lot of different Ford makes and models. But as far as the body panels, certain things on the inside, it's got to be Thunderbird or it won't work.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's okay too. I mean, that's cool too. But like you said, that's one thing that made this really popular with the Tri-5s was a lot of the parts was interchangeable. If you pick up a 55 and something's bad on it and you know where a 57's at, chances are the part will work.
They will until you get on a 57, the front fenders are different.
Okay.
They'll bolt up, but then you'll have the odd look.
Right. And then the hoods were different in 57.
They were.
A lot of people love that 57 hood because it has, the indentions in it in the hood where the 56 and 5 didn't. But I like the 56 and the 55 hoods better. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's better than anything else. It's just my personal opinion.
Well, I like any of the Tri-5s. When you start to put a Tri-5 together, if you ever do, you'll find out it's one of the easiest cars to go from the ground up that you'll ever work on.
That's good because I'm going from the ground up on mine. And I'm going to definitely be hollering at this guy when I start to get in trouble with mine. Because you are an expert on these cars.
No,
He's close enough.
I'm willing to spend the time.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Close enough for government work. This is a nice car. This will be. And you're going to sell this car?
Yeah.
This will make somebody a good car right here. This will make somebody a really good car. And with a matte black finish with the chrome on it, it's going to be beautiful.
I think so.
It's gonna be beautiful and set up to run too.
It is, and I raised the rear end up just a little bit to give it a nice looking stance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like them low in the back, but I don't.
Yeah, I've seen that done a lot. I like my cars low all the way around though.
Right.
I like them. I don't like an excessive amount of fender well space, especially if it's a great big long car. If it's a great big long car like I like them low to the ground all the way around. And if it's like a 57 Chevy or a 2-door or 4-door or even a 55, I like them set up just a little bit in the back and just kind of tucked right on top of the wheels. It looks good.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can do these cars in a variety of ways. They all look great.
Yeah, and still, in my opinion, there's no way to do a wrong one.
That's right.
When you get in it and start driving it, there'll be people that fall in love with what you did.
Exactly. And you know that's what it's all about. It makes you feel good, even though you're doing this as a hobby. It's something you enjoy doing and spending time on. But you always feel good when somebody else can appreciate what you've done.
You do.
And that means a lot. That goes a long way.
It does. It does to me.
It does to me too. Because there's an enormous amount of time and effort goes into this. And you know as well as I do the time and effort that goes into one of these.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, you'll never get a smile bigger or better than when you have something like this and you let a kid sit in there to get his picture took. That is the best feeling.
That's how it starts right there.
It is.
That's how it starts. You don't know, that kid sitting in that seat playing with your steering wheel, he might turn out to be the next big hot rod builder.
Very well could
10
be.
years down the road, 15 years down the road, you might see him on the Discovery Channel building these things. But it really is a great hobby. We really enjoy coming out and talking to people like you who have been doing this and you know all about this. There's no fooling you on one of these cars. You know what you're looking at. You know what you're talking about. You've done them before.
I hope so anyway. If I don't, I hope somebody out there will send me a lesson.
I hear that.
Because I'm always willing to learn.
Well, I can always learn something. I learned something about those quarter panels not 5 minutes ago. So yeah, there's always something to learn. It's nice to get out and talk to these guys, enjoy talking about these cars, looking at these cars. It's time well spent.
It is.
In my opinion, it's time well spent. I really appreciate you letting us come out today.
Well, I appreciate having you. I appreciate you thinking enough of my stuff to take your time to do this.
I believe there's going to be a lot of people out there really like these videos because the Tri-5s have just a tremendous following. The Camaros have an out-of-this-world following. And I've noticed that we were talking about this with another friend of mine. Even into the 80s now, Camaros are starting to get hot.
They are.
And they're coming around. What do you think about some of these newer cars coming, well, I say newer, late 80s, 90 cars coming on Fox Body Mustangs and Camaros?
Well, I kind of like it because that shows me that a younger generation is still interested in the vehicles.
Right.
Kind of like the squatter trucks. A lot of people are down on those. I think they're gorgeous. I think a young man's took his time to make that truck. I mean, I appreciate it as much as he would mine. So you're getting the younger generation in it, even though it's a newer vehicle.
Well, it's the same thing with these lowrider trucks and the imports have been hot for a long time. They're just finding new ways to race them now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different. The newer generation with the import cars, they're racing these cars. They're doing track racing, drifting, things like that. That's when you really sit down and think about it, even though it might not be the thing you're into, if you think back into the 50s and 60s, that's what guys were doing with the 30 model Fords when they were drag racing red light to red light.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a new form of it going forward.
It is, and it's keeping it alive.
It's keeping it alive. I mean, we see these guys out, they'll have their own shows now. I've been to a couple. We done a couple of those shows this year. I had a really good time. We didn't meet one bad person in any of them shows. They were all just as excited about the cars in those shows as we were to be there and see them.
Yeah.
And just like if it was one of our shows. So, I mean, you know, it's just the new generation going forward.
It is, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we need that. We need more. And I've said this 1,000 times. When it comes to these cars change people's outlook on life.
They do. They do.
And we need more of that.
Yeah. When you get a bunch of car guys together, you're going to have two things. Somebody's going to learn something, and these Ford and Chevy and Dodge guys, they're going to be hounding each other all in good fun.
They are.
There ain't nothing better to roast a Ford guy when you're driving a Chevy, and there ain't nothing better for that Ford guy than to roast the Chevy guy.
I like it when they tell their stories. I used to have one of those back before I could afford one of these.
Right?
That's wrong. I mean, I think every one of them are beautiful, and I'm not stuck on one thing. It's just I know Tri-5s, so they're easier for me to build.
Right. But yeah, they're all a lot of fun, and like I said, I really appreciate you letting us come out and do this.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I really appreciate having.
Well, I hope y'all enjoy this video, and I hope you like everything you've seen here, and like I said, big thanks to Ted for letting us come out and do this, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. It keeps us going. It keeps us, when you hit that like button, that puts it out to more people can enjoy the video. It tells YouTube, hey, let's put it out more. When you subscribe, that just keeps us going. That keeps us finding more people like Ted to talk to and building more cars. But hey, until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks.